Welcome gamers around the globe to the top 5 most fun archetypes in City of Heroes video. Now this was a tough one to make because every archetype is unique and fun in its own way, but we need to narrow it down to the top 5, so let's do this. Now before we dive into the list, I do have a quick question for you. Do you wear clothes? What a coincidence. I do too, at least most of the time. The Positive Gamer merch is now live and up for sale. You can head over to designbyhumans.com/shop/Positive Gamer and check them out. And I just so happen to be wearing one of the shirts right now. This is the It's All the Nemesis plot t-shirt. One of my favorite designs in the mocha color. There's actually 16 colors available for each shirt. This is one of the other ones. There's 3 designs in total. Go hunt, kill skulls. Also one of the big favorites. But head over there and check them out if you'd like. I will have the website linked in the first link in the description. Kicking off the list at number 5 is the Mastermind, often referred to as the ultimate MMO pet class. Their primary power sets are their pets, and man, are there some cool ones to choose from. You've got everything from robots to ninjas to demons and more. Their secondary power sets focus on buffing and debuffing, and one of them even offers yet another pet. If you've ever wanted to feel like a minion overlord or charge into battle with your own team by your side, the Mastermind archetype might be the one for you. Now obviously they're great for solo play, but I personally love the chaos that it brings when having a Mastermind on your team, or heck, multiple Masterminds. The more pets and chaos, the better. Sometimes the pet AI can be a little frustrating, but that's when you break out the whip, hone in on those micromanagement skills, finally set up those keybinds, and sit back as your pets do all of the heavy lifting and the dirty work. Next up on the list at number 4 is the Brute. The definition for Brute is actually a savagely violent person or animal, which is quite fitting because in City of Heroes you can be a person or an animal. And I mean really, this character creator has options for animal heads, ears, and even tails. It has something for everybody. So how would I accurately describe Brutes? They are the I'm gonna jump in the middle of all of those mobs and just start swinging archetype. They excel in the melee damage category and even have some pretty high survivability. Not quite as high as a tanker, but not too far off. A Brute's primary power sets are designed specifically for melee, whether that be with your fist or some type of weapon, and their secondary power set is for defense. There's just something about trying your best to keep attacking and keep fighting to build up your fury, which in turn increases your damage output. Most will agree that the Brute is the most satisfying melee archetype in City of Heroes. Coming in at number 3 is the very first archetype that I ever played in City of Heroes, the Controller. Crowd control is a big part of this game, and no archetype does it better than the Controller. This is going to sound really confusing, but the best way to describe the Controller is the weakest and yet the most powerful of all the archetypes. Their primary power sets focus on exactly what you would think: control. You will have the ability to freeze enemies in place, put them to sleep, even turn them against each other. And that's just naming a few. Their secondary power set options focus on buffing and debuffing. Every team can benefit from having a controller. They are one of the most unique archetypes in the MMO universe, period. The archetype in the number 2 spot made a push for number 1, but in the end, the Corruptor is the number 2 most fun archetype to play in City of Heroes. The Corruptor is the ultimate combo of providing support for your team while also having lots of debuffs in your back pocket, while also being able to pew pew and dish out some serious damage. Think of them as a defender archetype, but you trade out somewhat less potent buffs and debuffs for a significant amount of improved damage. Corruptors actually get an inherent power called Scourge, which is always active. It increases your chance to deal critical damage once an enemy is below 50% health. And believe it or not, this actually scales as the target's health decreases, meaning that crits are pretty much guaranteed on enemies that are at 10% health or below. Their primary power sets focus on ranged attacks, and their secondaries revolve around buffing and debuffing. The Corruptor offers, in my opinion, the perfect combo of power sets to be an all-around team player. You are highly sought after when TFs and Incarnate Trials are forming up. It's highly unlikely that you'll find yourself teamless as a Corruptor, assuming you want to be on a team, of course. It is now time for the grand finale. The #1 most fun archetype to play in City of Heroes is none other than the Blaster. How can you not love a Blaster? It's an offensive juggernaut. Some people tell me that they have low survivability, and to that I say enemies can't kill you when they're dead. A Blaster's best defense is his offense, and of course a good build doesn't hurt. No other archetype can compare to the amount of power you will feel from a distance while blasting enemies. A Blaster's primary power sets focus on ranged attacks, and their secondaries are designed for support via melee attacks, crowd control powers, or temporary self buffs. So yes, you can and most likely will find yourself meleeing from time to time, even as a Blaster. And if you decide to go the Blapper route, like I typically do, you'll find yourself meleeing more often than your team would probably like. I mean, the real question here is what's not to love about the Blaster. Just pure damage output. Big numbers floating up all over your screen and just melting faces. They are so much fun to play. And if you've never tried a Blaster, I highly recommend that you do so. They are the #1 most fun archetype to play in City of Heroes. Now again, quick disclaimer that I probably should have put at the beginning, but we're throwing it in at the end. This is all just my opinion. So please make your opinion known down below in the comment section below. Give me your top 5 because it's going to vary from person to person. And if you don't mind, give me some reasoning as well. So give me 5 is this archetype for this reason, and just put a little meat on the bone and tell me why you decided to put them in that order. But this video was really fun to make. It was really hard and difficult to make. I sat down and I wrote out the list, then I scratched it out, then I wrote out the list, then I scratched it out. But I'm a Blaster at heart. I just love that archetype so much. Just pew-pewing, melting faces all day. I love it. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for all the love on this channel. I just love City of Heroes so much. I can't stop playing it. I have a problem. Help me. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. I'll see you in Paragon City real soon. Positive Gamer. Peace out.